Willkommen to Monday Night TPK.
Hey, welcome back. This is Monday Night TPK. Although we've yet to have a TPK, and this is what, like episode 28 or something?
Yeah.
At what point does this become false advertising?
I mean, when we avoid your traps of dead people to lure us into a fight,
I don't know what you're talking about.
We won't get one.
That sounds to me like I need to make sure y'all get murdered tonight.
Okay.
Happy Murder Day. Happy Death and Dismemberment Day.
Wrong
Alright.
about that. That's the 18th, not the 14th.
So yeah, my name is Kyle. I don't even know what I've already said. This is a Real Play Dungeons & Dragons podcast. We are playing Tomb of Annihilation. Around the table are 4 people who really like puns.
Yeah.
Especially Ryan.
Yes.
Ryan is not the king of much, but he is the king of puns.
Pumpkin King.
That took me a second to get. That was real smooth. Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm just peachy.
You're just peachy? Man, what do you think about that episode of Game of Thrones that aired last night? But like by the time this thing comes out, will be months old.
Which means the spoiler ban on it is
So man,
risen.
folks, the second to last episode of season 8 of Game of Thrones played last night. That's where we are in time as we record this.
The Game Bowl 2019.
Yeah, lots of blood. Dana,
Mm-hmm.
I see you're looking very heavily through Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide.
Yes.
Sword Coast.
I
Yeah,
know, but-
even though we're not on the Sword Coast.
No, but that's kind of where we started, and that's where Rixer's from, because I need to change what I have picked for his languages, because he would not know Orc,
That's fair.
because he was not raised by Orcs. So,
What race was he raised by?
humans.
Cool. Sam.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Are you awake?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, cool. Anything else to share? Anything you want to tell us?
No.
Anything you don't want to tell us?
Yes.
Alright. Matt,
Yes.
what is the biggest secret you've never told Sam?
That's not being said.
Come on.
And I don't even know what it is.
Come on.
I don't know
No-
what it would be.
Nobody's gonna know.
She pretty much knows everything. Okay, because this isn't being broadcast on
Right.
the internet.
No, nobody listens to the show.
I
We
remember...
know at least one person specifically that listens to the show.
I remember whenever Matt found out Sam's hidden secret
That was great.
about the kitchen fires.
Yep.
I don't think Sam has ever had an issue with kitchen fires. Me. 3. Since we've been living together.
Yep.
So,
Well, she pretty much knows me pretty well, so I don't think there's anything that I have never told her.
That's a boring answer.
Well, that's how our relationship works.
I like your answer.
Alright, cool. So, we
I tell her
also...
everything. She tells me nothing about kitchen fires. It's okay.
Yeah. It's fair. It's
It's the way
totally
I
fair.
like it.
As long as there's not like a big kitchen fire where like lives are lost.
There's just smoke billowing out of the kitchen. Is the house on
I
fire?
shouldn't do that.
No.
Sorry.
No.
I was knocking on wood because I don't want that to happen to anybody.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you guys are gonna be moving out of this house soon, so if it catches
Yeah.
on fire,
Well, I mean, resale value might go down a little bit, though, so...
Yeah.
I mean, that totally happened, though. I had an apartment, and then I moved out, and somebody that my girlfriend at the time knew moved in, and they burned down the apartment.
holy crap,
Yeah. There was a...
you dodged that fire.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a grease fire, and they tried to put it out with water.
No.
Yeah. So, never put out a grease fire with water.
Uh-uh.
The more you know.
Rainbow.
The phrase is not copyrighted, but that hand movement is.
Is it?
Well, they can't see it. It's okay.
It's
I
okay.
have no
We can't say
idea.
this is radio.
Old-timey radio. Alright, cool. So, a bunch of stuff maybe happened last week. I thought it was minimal, but you guys at the end of the last episode didn't seem to think so.
Okay.
Sam, with your endless ability to recall the past,
She has the time stone.
I like that. That makes me seem much more powerful than I am.
what does your, scrying screen tell you about what happened?
Just a second, let me consult it.
Alright, okay, Google.
Alright, here we go. At the start of episode 27, we decided to get the canoes into the water and travel at a normal pace, while rumbles of thunder continued. Iku advised us that if a storm comes our way, we will have to pull over, as we don't want to get overwhelmed with the storm and lose our canoes / things in them. It was raining slightly, and we slowly maneuvered around the ice chunks. After a little while, we saw what looked like a tarp strung between two trees. But just kidding, it was a person strewn out and nailed to two separate trees. His insides were on the outside. Iku said that the Batiri goblins marked their territory in this way. So we passed by the body in the tree because we did not want to get stuck there. Montwood asked Rixer if Rixer would appreciate Montwood rowing. Rixer said no thanks. So Gilly offered for Brielle, and Brielle promptly let go of the oars. And Gilly started rowing, which was an adventure all on its own, as the wind and rain began to pick up. Shortly thereafter, the rain catchers were overflowing with water, so we made the plan to fill up our individual water skins as we continued drinking from them. Then Montwood saw monkeys. The Wizard of Oz type monkeys. Except cuter.
Way
No hats.
And no hats.
Or vests.
Does 12 have a hat?
No.
We're gonna give 12 a hat.
He's naked.
We gotta fix that.
Give him a hat and a little vest.
Iku said that they are rare and good luck to see in your journeys. So we continued to row the boats. As nighttime approached, the ice situation remained the same, but the thunder had diminished. So we scouted out a spot on the right side of the riverbank to avoid the undead territory. We shored up, and Brielle started scouting the area. Montwood, Rixer, and Gilly got ready to unpack camp and set up. Brielle found mostly nothing, except a decomposed body under the underbrush of the jungle. Check that. 4 or 5 decomposed bodies and body bits all over the place. Gross. We established that the Night Watch order, which will continue from this point forward, is first watch, Rixer and Montwood, second watch, Iku and Brielle, third watch, Brielle and Gilly. On this night, first watch, Rixer started putting down sprite fruit around the camp. Then Montwood started a small fire out of herbs and ingredients and whatnot, and threw 12 into it. After throwing 12 into the flames, a flying monkey appeared, and a new 12 is born. The old 12 is reborn?
Is it not 13? Like, it stays
It's, also,
on.
it's the same entity. It's just
Okay.
Just looks different every time.
12.1.
12 is new. And just so everyone knows, he's a pretty cool flying monkey. Because he's cool
Right.
to the touch. Yeah, see what I did?
Yeah.
I did that thing. It was funnier when I explained it. Second watch was uneventful. Third watch was peaceful. And then we started our morning routines. I earned a bite of cookie for that.
Yes, you
Yay. So it's morning. You guys, do you do anything before you start to pack it in?
Oh,
No.
not really. I just gotta look this up again.
Normal routine.
Yeah.
Back
normal
it up.
routines.
Yeah, we had water catchers full and room to put water. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you
our
guys were
stuff
able
would be
to.
full again,
Oh my
probably,
goodness.
yeah.
Yep, you guys were able to kind of like basically drink from your stuff and refill it pretty quickly.
Okay.
Ryan, what are you? Oh my goodnessing!
So I'm just double checking the stat block for this flying monkey, and his size and stats are comparable to a normal individual. So get to work, 12. Start picking up stuff.
I mean, I told you he is small sized. He's the same size as Gilly.
Oh, shit! That's awesome!
I mean, there is kind of a scale there,
Yeah,
so we
right.
might not be the exact same size.
That's still really cool.
On the
So
small
he
end
can
of
he
small.
can carry his own weight now.
I mean, probably a little over 3 feet with almost a 5-foot wingspan.
Billy will saunter over to Montwood and like check him and be like, "Can that thing row a boat?"
Not very well.
Same. Okay.
All right, cool.
Thought I'd ask.
It can try. It might
Mhm.
not do good. It can help.
Mm.
All right, so you guys get in your boats and you make way. There are still chunks of ice slowly floating
A lot
down
of
the
ice.
river. These seem a lot smaller than the ice chunks you have been seeing over the past couple days, but they are definitely still there. What's up, Ryan? You seem confused or concerned.
Oh no, I'm just taking myself. Why would there be ice chunks?
I don't know. I have no idea. No whatsoever.
Maybe we'll find out sometime.
Did someone freeze the river? Is that how they got across?
I mean, it's not a bad way of doing it.
Picturing like Iceman just laying down his ice trail. That seems inconvenient.
Better than trying to ford the river, though, I guess.
Well, especially if you're trying
That's,
to get like a
that's an
wagon. or
Oregon
something.
Trail reference.
If you're trying to get a wagon across.
By the way, Montwood dies of dysentery.
No!
Good character.
So yeah, morning passes. You guys, I'm sure, are able to munch on trail rations or whatever. It's delicious and nutritious, or at least half of those things. Who is rowing? Is that going to be Brielle and Rixer as usual?
Yeah.
All right.
Or at least Rixer, for sure.
And you guys in the past have described yourselves as kind of being very alert otherwise and looking around.
Yes.
So I want to give me a perception check. Brielle and Rixer, you have disadvantage because you're also focusing on dodging.
You need to do an athletics or whatever that like you had us do last time, or are they small enough that?
These are small enough that you think if you hit them, they're probably not going to really matter.
Okay. Wait, what is this again? Perception?
Perception.
Yeah,
Got 6.
16.
6.
Oh no.
25.
Nice.
Okay, 16 and 25. So Brielle and Montwood. You see along the river, because everything's along the river you see, because
Right.
I feel like I'm using that phrase repeatedly, but like
I mean, that's what it is.
you're on a canoe going down the river, like what?
I mean, you could also use in the river or in the sky, but
You guys had some Eric Coker in the sky.
Yeah, we haven't had that in a while.
And I haven't randomly rolled on any hazards or anything interesting in the water.
Next to the river's shore.
Next to the river's shore, you guys see very obviously constructed wooden signs with some kind of writing on them.
Which side is this?
These would be on the right-hand side of the river.
Okay.
Do we know the language?
Remind me again what languages Brielle can read?
Orcish, Elvish, and Common. I think that's it. Yeah.
Brielle cannot read it. Motwood? Ryan?
Wait, what languages?
Orc, Common, and Elvish.
I don't think I'll be able to read it though, but how far away is it? Can I get a rough? Is it within 100 feet?
Yeah, easily.
So I'm trying to peer over at it. I'm like trying to squint, and 12 is right by me, aping my movements.
Yes.
That eye roll was so big, Kyle's head moved.
And I just go look. And
12 can fly over there.
and I'm gonna kind of faint in the boat as I switch my perspective to what he sees.
It is a very, very crudely crafted sign, like basically like a flat piece of wood nailed to a stake and pounded into the ground. It's got writing on it. You can't read it.
Can't read it.
Can't
But
read it. Can we identify it? Because
I
I mean,
don't know.
I don't know what I can't read Japanese, but I know what it looks like.
Could you distinguish Japanese from Cantonese
Kyle.
Basically,
or Mandarin?
all I want to do is if I can't read it,
I would still know that it's Asian, or Oriental in some danger.
if I can't read it with common, undercommon, or celestial, I at least want to try to get the symbols in my mind so I can recreate them.
Give me a straight intelligence check.
Sure thing. Ooh, 7?
I got an 18.
Sorry, 9.
Yeah, Motwood, the whole like you're perceiving this through a monkey brain thing and try to bring your sight back to you. You're like, what was that? Like, was there a banana in there? No, that can't be. Like, it's just the connection was a little bit fuzzy and full of fruit. You're pretty sure you saw remember there being like a great big barrel with some burst logo on the side of it. You're not sure what that's all about. Brielle, it's halfling.
Okay. She's going to reach over to Gilly and point it out. And she will sign written in halfling.
Can I squint and try to see it again?
I mean, yeah, and you guys are getting closer to it too. Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I was going to buy it.
Oh gosh.
Oof.
8, 9, 10, 11.
I mean, once they point it to you, 10 is going to be all you really want.
That's fair.
Yeah, you can see it, and it's one word. Supplies.
So in a way, the monkey wasn't wrong.
Bananas and barrels.
Iku, why does that say supplies and halfling over there?
This whole time, Iku is silently just watching you guys. She can see the sign, especially after you guys point it out. She's gonna turn to Gilly. Your guess is as good as mine. The locals. We have seen so far signs of the Batiri Goblin. They're not going to create a sign like this.
It's a bit of a ruse.
The wild albino dwarf tribes are not going to be writing in halfling.
Dwarfs?
Albino dwarves, yes, they are tribes scattered throughout these jungles. We'll get back to that later. Gilly, cannibal tribes aren't going to bother with something like this. I cannot. I could speculate, but I have no real knowledge.
Guys, okay. So the sign says supplies in Halfling.
Okay.
Do we trust it and want to go see? Do we really need supplies?
Well, are there halflings in the jungle?
You asked that Iku?
Yeah. I mean, just generically. Yelling it across to the canoe.
She's gonna shrug and point at Gilly.
Hi.
But
I know of at least one.
she didn't come from here. So.
And no, halflings are not traditionally from Chult. There are no halfling family groupings or halfling tribes that I'm aware of. However, outsiders have been exploring Chult since the beginning of Chult. People have come here from all over the world, especially as of late.
We came through a basement.
So you have said.
Yeah.
So you have said. So the possibility of other halflings in the jungle, it is possible.
Oh, okay.
Brielle's gonna sign to Gilly and ask her if it says how far away the supplies are, or if it just says supplies.
One word.
It just says supplies.
She's going to note that we are a few days from Camp Righteous. And those people are supposed to be outsiders. Which means there may be halflings there.
Right. Yeah, that was my concern too, but why write it in halfling? Write it in common. So maybe this could be a good-hearted stop where we could get... Do we need supplies? We could get supplies and maybe they would be decent people. We should not stop at Camp Righteous. Absolutely not.
She will sign. Should we scout it out first? Or are you confident that this is your people and that we're gonna not walk into a trap?
No, I mean, I'm also convinced it's a trap because it's common knowledge that halflings like food, and there are cannibals in the jungle, and people who like food are usually well-fed and therefore more meaty.
Not halfling cannibals.
12 will be trying to do the hand signs.
It's a borderline insulting.
Rixer's gonna try to teach 12 how to say thank you.
I don't know. I'm torn. I saw that guy back there. He was torn too. And
She says, I saw one in the woods that was torn up pretty well too.
So, do we need supplies? I mean, I'm so hungry. But we don't need them. I don't know.
She says it's your choice.
Oh, God. Hey, guys.
Yeah.
How are the supplies over in that boat?
They're dry.
Good.
They're packed up very nicely. I think you did that, Gilly. It was a really good job.
Did you guys, Matt, did you happen to keep track of the food
Yes,
you
I
guys
have.
are eating? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rixer would have no idea.
It's not like we have a lot of money to spare, though, either.
No, we have 17 gold and 55 silver.
Yeah.
We are down to 16 rations,
Huh.
but we have full water again, so.
Oh, no.
This is so bad.
Maybe we could trade, even though we don't have a lot of money. I've got that blue the blue gem thing.
I think you gave that to Bolo.
You did.
did.
You
Okay,
did.
never mind.
You have that one.
I need to erase
You guys are
that.
definitely, like, at this point, as you're discussing this, I'm assuming that most of this conversation is happening, like, in-game as well.
Yeah.
Like, you're coming up on it, like, right now.
Okay.
Can we see anything past the sign?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Give
ask.
me perception checks.
13.
13, I believe. Yeah, 13.
I didn't roll so well this time. Only got
Okay.
10.
16.
All right. I mean, higher than 15. What I'm looking for here. You can see that there is like a mound of like dug up dirt. Like something is like probably relatively recently buried right behind the sign.
I didn't see it.
Nope. Mark it on the map. Come back later. Do you see that mound of dirt?
How big of a mound is it?
I mean,
Like person size?
no.
Oh.
Oh, I was picturing like a big mound of dirt. Sorry.
Oh.
You said like somebody buried something, right?
Yeah.
So,
like
So it's probably just like a little mound, like.
yeah, a heap of
Yeah.
dirt, like a couple feet around.
Maybe somebody buried their supplies there.
Yeah.
She will say, maybe a group lost some men and dumped their supplies there for somebody else to use.
That's fair.
It is some sort of common courtesy among explorers to leave supplies for each other.
Is that a thing, Iku?
I have traveled with explorers who were scouting out ahead ahead of a larger party or a larger group. I have encountered that lots of times.
Well,
Organized people, companies, corporations. No, actually these were corporations, but like trading companies hoping to make money in Chult. Sure, sending a scouting party that will leave stuff for future expeditions, that's not unheard of.
well, then maybe we should leave it because they're counting on that and we take it and they don't have it. What if they die?
Yeah, I don't want to take it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let's just keep it. We don't need extra supplies right now anyway.
Okay.
But let's make a note of it on the map.
Do that. Let's see, so I haven't marked yesterday's movement yet. So, mark that. So, it's on the right side, you said?
Correct.
I'll just put a little X right here and put supplies.
All right. You guys have marked a supply sign on your map. Cool. All right.
Let's continue on.
You guys continue on. I never did look at the weather for today. I had you guys just go straight on out.
Jeez, you're slacking.
I know. I assumed you would want you wanted EQ to make this survival check
Yeah.
because I already did that.
Perfect.
It is hot because it's always hot.
Yeah.
But it's not as hot as it has been some days. It's just like average hot. And it's kind of a drizzly rain, but there's no real wind to speak of. So you got that going for you. A couple more hours pass, and you have got this supply sign well and far behind you. And up ahead of you in the river, and you guys like turn a corner or turn a bend, and it's clear as day. There is an enormous sheet of ice blocking half of the river.
Oh, wow.
And periodically, as you get closer, you'll see on the very fringes, edges of this ice sheet, chunks kind of just break off and float on down the way. And this is from 120 feet away.
Oh, wow.
Maybe
Maybe you were right. Maybe
Man,
somebody made an ice bridge.
I'm scared.
Iku is like, what is this?
So you said like covering like half of the river?
Maybe a little over half, yeah.
I can't answer that question. It's ice. It freezes. It's frozen water.
I have never seen so much in one place.
Climate change, man.
It's real.
You guys are steadily creeping up on it.
Does it look like there's anything on top of the ice?
The ice that's covering the river, no. As you get closer, you realize that it also like stretches into the jungle a ways, and you see trees just completely frozen solid, and plants just totally caked in ice.
Is it possible to tell like how far that goes?
From where you're at, not really, because you guys are still pretty, 80 feet away or something at this point. You can tell that the opposite side of the ice river dam, it's significantly larger than the side closest to you. Like it almost like rises up.
Oh, okay. As it goes further up the river?
As it goes further up the river.
Okay. Does it look like that there was ice on the other bank?
No. Other bank looked completely like everything else you've seen.
Okay.
And again, as you get closer, periodically chunks on the very fringes of this formation will break off and kind of start to float slowly towards
Is
you.
it possible to tell like how wide the whole thing is, how tall it is?
And again, you guys kind of keep continually rowing up closer and closer. You can see a little bit further into the jungle. It's a little bit difficult to see past the river portion of it, because it looks like. Give me a straight intelligence check, folks.
Okay.
We'll see what you can deduce.
Oh, that's a natural 20 on a 4.
Yeah, well, hit the table.
It hit the table?
Natural 20 again, though.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah,
Which is a 22.
Yeah, I mean, again, 15 or higher.
Okay. 11.
Water is flowing down into this icy area, and you get the impression that as more water comes into it, it kind of like freezes more and is frozen into a very, very large, like big chunk of ice.
So part of it is cold enough to freeze the uncommon water, and part of it is...
And then the water does flow around it, in fact, but it looks like almost like on the one side, like the water has dammed up a little bit, so it's overflowed its banks, and it's kind of flown a little bit further into the jungle, further into this ice scape, and then has frozen as it has done that. Like it continued around it, and just kind of continues to like flood and freeze on one side.
So the ice is cold enough to freeze the jungle water.
Oh, and as you guys get within, say, 30 feet of this thing, unless you're deliberately going to avoid it, you're going to see that it's probably about 120-foot radius.
Oh.
So it goes deep into the jungle as well, and there's the trees
magical.
are totally frozen solid. There's
Man,
like
I took detect magic.
wizards, man.
It's my last spell.
These magic solve everything.
Almost took it.
Yeah.
there is, and you can, as you get closer, 30 feet away, I mean, you can feel the temperature dropping. It's not from 30 feet away. It's not freezing cold,
Right.
but it is noticeably colder.
Should we slow down while we're trying to go past this, figure it out?
Well, I'm anticipating with a blockage the part that is not covered in ice. That water is moving faster because more water is
right here it is moving faster, like right around it, and then it kind of widens back out.
So we would naturally slow because we're going against that current, correct?
If the pace you guys have been setting for yourselves.
Gilly will say, "It seems like we're slowing down anyhow. This current seems to be much stronger."
I mean, I can go faster if you want.
No.
Okay.
How tall was this again?
the whole thing, now that you're getting close enough to really see further into it.
No, how tall, not how big.
How tall is what? I'm sorry.
So,
Like,
height
is it just on the surface, or is it like a plateau or
How
a mound of ice?
How high is the ice sticking up over the river?
I mean, on the opposite side of you, there's almost like a wall of ice that has formed from the constant like water coming in. Okay, are you like asking how tall that is?
Or you said there's ice
yes,
blocking
that
us, right?
information.
Yeah.
Too.
Okay, that is probably about 40 feet.
Tall?
That's way too high.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we get wide, really, really wide. So probably about 20 feet, half that.
Okay. So we really can't see shit.
Yeah.
On the other side.
So it's still
Past it,
really
yeah.
flipping tall.
Right.
But it seems like almost like completely like, and you can almost see, because almost as if this has been happening for several days. You can almost like see the total like shape of the upper curve of this whole zone because of this like the flooding of the river that has started to happen and the freezing as it floods around like this arc. And you would guess about a sphere of about 120 feet radius.
Alright, is there a chunk of ice floating by?
Sure, yeah.
I touch it and cast Identify. Do you want the
Yeah.
wordage?
Do you have it, please?
Yep. Choose one object that you must touch throughout the casting of this spell. So I guess I would like
Pick it up, yeah.
keep a hand out. Yeah. If it is a magic item or some other magic imbued object, you learn its properties and how to use them, whether it requires attunement to use, how many charges it has, if any. You learn whether any spells are affecting the item and what they are. If the item was created by a spell, you learn the spell which created it. If you instead touch a creature, it might be a creature. If you touch a creature throughout the casting, you learn what spells, if any, are currently affecting it.
I was going to use my wand.
So here's the thing with that. I mean, the water that this ice has come from, that is just mundane water. So the water itself, even the fact that it's ice, isn't magical. Like, the ice itself is not magical. It is just ice.
Right.
But
if magic imbued the water to make it ice.
Yeah.
Or how about the little organisms living in the water?
Yeah, they're all frozen solid. This is a tough one. It doesn't seem like this water was targeted with a spell didn't target this water.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this water was definitely frozen by a magical effect.
Okay.
Let me try to figure out exactly. Maybe it tells me.
Is your wand of detect magic?
I haven't used it in a while, so it's got full charges.
No, but is it a wand of detect magic?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like, it is an oddity that this amount of ice can exist in these hot temperatures.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, do you guys like get into this area, or do you stay on the boat, or how do you approach it?
I
No,
was
we
just
wanna-
thinking of
I was thinking
tapping
we
it in the water.
Yeah, as it's floating by, but
I didn't
as
wanna
we
go ice
get
skating.
closer to it, Brielle's gonna get in her bag and pull out her wand,
Her wand of.
detect magic. Maybe I'll put that in this inventory. I just forgot to rewrite it down.
Sam,
Mm-hmm.
there are. Because I don't want to, like, not give you something for the spell that you cast.
Sure.
You definitely get the feeling that a spell very, very similar to Odaluk's freezing sphere probably created this space, but it's something that is just exponentially more powerful than that spell traditionally would be.
Okay.
So similar to it,
Mm-hmm.
but way more powerful.
Okay. Odalute, you said?
Odaluke's freezing sphere.
This seems very similar to
Which-
Odaluke's frozen sphere, but I didn't think it could ever be this powerful.
It's a 6th level spell.
Wow. That's a pretty, what, do you need me to roll something to know what class of?
It's evocation. From your identify, I'll give it to you. It's an evocation spell.
Okay. I don't know who would be able to use something this strong. This is much bigger. Much, much bigger. Similar, but much, much bigger.
Maybe there's clues on the ice. Like, go look. Like, start gesturing for 12 to fly over and do a.
Yeah, what kind of connections do you get? Excuse me. Do you get to your creature?
What kind of connections?
Yeah.
I can instruct him as long as he's within 100 feet of me, and I can call him back to my side if he's within 1 mile of me.
Okay.
And then I can switch my perspective over to him, which I'm going to also do.
Sure. And you just get sight and sound.
Yes.
Those are the only sensations you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
do believe so.
I'll double check, but I know it's at least sight and sound.
You guys can see 12 fly into this zone, and like as soon as he kind of like crosses this ice, the not literal barrier, but like the threshold that you can see, like he almost just like stumbles in air, like he kind of like catches himself and stays flying, and he kind of crosses his arms, and you can see like just like his breath, and he's just like shivering, and he's like, he went from being confident and swooping through to like slowly kind of hovering just a few feet at a time, just trying to like shiver and shiver as he's being told to keep going forward.
Mom would send it back, send it back.
Just a second.
He's sad.
And
And
he's doing what he was told, but he is very, very cold. Are you guys like pulling your boats up to beside this, or are
No.
you just like still like rowing
I think we
in
go
place,
around
or
it
Yeah.
for now
After
until we make a decision on what to do.
Yeah, after Gilly sees Montwood 12 like hit that threshold and start shivering, Gilly will say, "I do not want to go near there. I would rather be hot than freeze to death."
I mean, the air around this zone is probably like 60 degrees, so significantly cooler. And you can actually watch, because like I said before, it's kind of misting. As the rain hits it and the drizzle hits it, it turns like to snow.
Okay.
And you can watch the rain just hit this zone and just start turning into snow. And
Sorry.
I will dismiss 12 and call him back.
dismiss him or just call him back?
You can do
It
one or the
is-
other.
I'll call him back.
Okay. I mean, there's a difference between
Yeah.
dismissing your familiar and
Dismiss him just sends him to the
Yeah.
Feywild or Feyplane or wherever.
you call it. He comes back and he kind of like gets past that threshold and just shivers, and he's got some snow all over his fur, and he just shakes it all off, and he comes and hovers back.
You didn't see anything while up there, though?
He didn't. I mean, how far would you let him get in? I mean, it's 120 radius, so you're talking 240 feet from end to end. About 20 to 30 of it is over the water, and the rest just goes into the jungle.
So you can, if he
Flank
dashed
catch and second magic
60
thing.
feet, well, I can proceed. So probably about 90 feet in.
About 90 feet in. Further up ahead,
Mhm.
about, I don't know what that would be, another 30 feet to about the center point of this. It looks like two enormous creatures just frozen totally solid. humanoid creatures, bipedal.
So there's things up there. Over there. Is it up?
Across,
Over.
like it's.
It would be over across the
I mean, like
river.
yeah, like I said, like I kind of, I don't know. Maybe I'm doing a poor job of describing this. Like
I keep
Wa-
imagining
water-
like it's raised up. Like
it's
a
really
wall.
not. It's
Okay.
it's the same level as the rest of the ground by the river.
So it's like there was a bridge,
Okay.
and then parts of the bridge have crumbled off, and then it goes off into the river or into the woods.
All right. I keep imagining it being a wall of ice. and I
Like
don't-
there is along the one side because the river water had like a dam had started, and it kind of flows around this basically sphere, and as the water flows, it's been freezing as it comes into contact
Because it's hitting the
because it's hitting it.
threshold of
So you've
extreme
got-
cold.
So it's getting higher and higher.
This would be where you can go around,
All right.
and this is freezing, and then it goes this way off into the forest.
I understand that.
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking it, realizing it,
What?
whatever.
Things. 2 things?
Well, they looked big,
Okay.
but I don't know if it's because 12 is so small.
Okay.
What if they need help?
Monsters?
They look like they are beyond help.
As I said,
Oh.
they're frozen solid and
Yeah.
covered in snow at this point.
Do you share that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Brielle would sign. The only way to probably get them out is with the spell magic, which we don't have access to.
Yeah. Good point, bro. We can't help them. We can't dispel it. This is a very powerful spell. More powerful, like, beyond what I could do for a while.
And with the identify spell, the Odaluk's freezing sphere that I mentioned, this similar effect would last for a minute.
Would last for a minute.
So the
Which
spell
obviously
originally
not
only
the
lasted
case.
about for a
The
minute. but if this
sixth
is
level
like
version of
days-
this spell would
Yeah.
last for a minute.
Yeah. The spell that it's similar to would just last for a minute, and this.
Have you mentioned the name of the spell?
Yeah. Odalus.
Just roll an Arcana on the spell itself. See
Sure.
if maybe there's a way to make it last longer. Oh, jeez. I am not holding my dice very well today.
Meta magic.
That's a natural 20. Do you want just intelligence?
Give me Arcana.
Arcana, it's just my base intelligence, so that's a 22.
I mean, you can with most spells, cast them from higher level spell slots. That would make them more potent.
But I'm
But
thinking specifically on this spell.
on particular this spell, I mean, I know you roll really high, Matt, but like,
This is
I don't
stuff.
think.
Yeah, I know, wizard.
Yeah, you're not in the where I would want you to be to like be able to really deduce this.
Would she at least know though that the way spells change whenever they're cast from a higher level? Like, you know, some do more damage, some cover a bigger area.
Some do last longer.
This one does more damage, and there is, if you read the minutia of the spell, it is meant to do a lot of damage, and this one would increase damage.
So that would at least kind of give her an idea of that.
It doesn't
This-
last longer. It's supposed to deal more damage.
Right, that this probably isn't just a spell, even cast from higher level.
Did you get a nat 20?
Yeah, that's a nat
Okay.
20.
I'll also give you that you would know. Ryan's gonna love this. You would know that certain extraordinarily powerful magical items can have the power to permanently alter a location.
She'll reiterate that to Gilly.
Oh. Yeah, I suppose an item could do that too. You're right. But I'm really not. I don't want to go in and see. One, I don't want to freeze to death. 2, we have a different mission. Stick to the mission.
12 is unhurt, just cold.
Not really that. So he's, except for being a little bit cold, 12's pretty fine.
Here, you can use my towel to wrap around him. You can warm him up.
Kyle, is there? So it goes out so far, so we could theoretically walk around it, right, to stay
Yeah.
away from the cold, until we got closer to where those two frozen people are at,
I mean-
or whatever they're at.
It's a sphere, and he went in basically just straight towards the center.
Right.
So the
we
distance is
could
going to be
go-
the same no matter where you're coming from.
So Brielle's going to suggest to Gilly that we could, if we want to check it out, we could go give it a berth and get towards where those figures are at to get a better look and see if we want to try to figure out a way to help them. Or if we just want to leave them because it might be something that could kill us.
Yeah. I mean, we could try. I think it's gonna be because 12 went right straight in and it looks like a
Mhm.
circular. We're gonna have to go in the same amount either way. So, but we can try. So
Are they
what
in the
is it?
center or are they more
Yes.
towards? Oh,
It's
they're
like-
in the center.
Like it seemed like it was
Oh,
like the
okay.
center.
We can try. If you want, if we want to.
You guys just need to pull all your canoes to the side.
I mean, we all have our close to winter gear still on us, yeah?
I mean,
Brielle
regular,
does.
like
Regular.
What we
regular
had, what we
clothes, yeah.
had before, which was nearing winter.
It was
Yeah.
late winter, yeah.
I actually have a winter blanket.
So I mean, most of us could just suit back up a little bit,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which would give us a little resistance.
Right.
More than what the monkey has.
Yeah.
Poor 12.
Poor.
I could force him, but
So it's up to the party.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. We should do that.
Montwood, you seem curious. We can try it. You like to collect things.
I do.
Yeah, I know.
And this is odd and interesting, so just something to collect.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So do you want to take your canoes past it on the far side or on the?
I would say, yeah, shore them up a little bit of ways away from, so that the cold doesn't damage the wood of the canoes.
So
It's like
you're
the
gonna go
forward
past it
way.
and around it, or are you gonna
Do
like?
it. I mean, I think at this point we'd probably be already close to going around it anyways. There's no.
Yeah, I got the idea. Like you guys like were kind of letting the
We're-
current more or less keep you in place as you fought against it to stay where you were, which would have been a lot of work actually. But
Yeah.
I mean, I guess eventually this sphere would no longer like cover the area of the river.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
totally probably like a 15-foot wide section of river that you can get around. It's just
That's not what I mean.
I'm sorry, what's
So river like this circle, it's not going to cover the river completely. Like eventually, if we keep going up the river,
you can get
it
around
will,
it.
we'll go
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
around that
Yeah, we're
edge.
going around it.
And
Yeah.
so we
I
want to
mean, we
go
can go
to
around
that
it now
point.
because it's been breaking off.
Right.
So
Yes, we want to bypass the circle and then shore up.
Right.
Sure,
And yeah, and I don't mean the ice. I mean the circle that is being affected by the cold.
I understand that.
yeah,
Okay,
that's why
so
I
it
said.
But like the ice, basically is the same area.
Okay.
In terms of the river, like the zone of this has been just freezing solid. The river.
That's why I said pull up past it a little bit to shore up and then keep our canoes away so the cold
Right.
doesn't damage the wood.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you guys can definitely kind of get up and around it, and you can see this like especially like by the river and close to the river, there's this 20-foot wall of ice that has started to form, and it's almost like a dome shape. It kind of curves up a little bit, and then you can see that the river on this side has started to spill out towards and around this thing. But after you get a little ways away, like the river speed more or less goes back to what it was because it's wide again and it can flow normally. There's no more ice chunks coming towards you.
Okay.
How far away from it do you want to go before you start parking your boats?
Like 15, 20 feet.
Yeah, you can
Yeah, we don't want to go
very
too
easily do
far,
that.
but yeah.
And with the way the river's bank has overflowed some, it's pretty easy to find a little bit further in space to do this.
Okay.
How do you guys want to attack? How do you want to approach it?
So we're gonna have to walk around the wall.
We're gonna change into our warmer clothes though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Throw on the warmer gear.
Okay. even like I said, you guys park your boat about 20 feet away, and you can the air temperature is dropped. It's not like freezing cold, but it's like I said, 60 degrees. So it's, I mean, already like you're almost like, oh man, this feels pretty good compared to the extreme heat you've been dealing with
Right.
for the past week.
Brielle's gonna let her hair down.
So you don your clothing that you had before you left Baldur's Gate, and you kind of have to walk a little ways around this wall of ice that has formed to kind of come around back on the other side of it, but you can definitely get around it, and you stand at more or less the threshold of this cold zone, because you can see at your feet, like, the ground goes from just kind of like green to literally frozen, like a sheet of ice. It's not smooth ice by any means,
Right.
but like all the plants, everything is just like completely encased in ice.
I'm going to use one of the javelins, kind of like a walking stick a little bit, like with the pointed end down. And then I'm going to give the other one to Gilly to use the same way so that she doesn't fall.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. And you guys walk into the zone.
Mm-hmm.
Can I make a perception check just to see if I can see the item that might be doing this?
Sure, it is kind of misty, turning into snow.
Because usually if it's something that's going to stay like this constantly, the magic item has to stay there. So, that's not horrible. 14? 14.
The snow is not very heavy coming in there. You can see from, you're, 120 feet away. But you can see that there are two very large humanoid figures standing in the center of this. And they both are kind of like, their feet are kind of wide apart. They're hunched over a little bit. Their arms are kind of out.
Like they were attacking each other or something else?
They are facing each other.
So like they were in combat with each other?
From 120 feet away. I don't know. Especially with 14. You don't know.
The dawn can take you all.
I guess hoods up and move closer.
Okay. So the air around this zone was getting chilly, but as you cross the threshold, the cold takes your breath away. In terms of raw statistics and numbers, it's negative 30 degrees.
Oh.
So like instantly, like Brielle's hair freezes. Everyone's just like this little bit of sweat or perspiration in your clothing. It just goes from like moist to crunchy, like that. But you think that you probably, even with the clothing that you have, couldn't spend a lot of time here. Like you've got probably several minutes before you start maybe worrying about like being too cold.
We should move faster.
Can I advise on frostbite?
Sure. You or Gilly?
Gilly.
Sure.
Okay.
Guys, if we stay in here too long, we're gonna get frostbite. We will lose limbs. Your body will start shutting down its blood flow to the extremities in order to preserve its core life.
But I like my hands.
You will lose them.
No, should we go back?
Rick, so you can put your hand outside of the zone, and you can feel your fingertips warming up a little bit.
Yeah, I think we should go back, guys.
No.
I mean, again, like you're 120 feet away from these figures. You've got some time, because, it takes some time for this to happen.
Yeah.
But it's cold enough to know that if you stay here too long, it would not be... You don't have the equipment to survive long term with this temperature.
Let's make a run for it then.
How big is the whole sphere?
120-foot radius.
So
But if they're in the middle, that's not 120 feet from where we're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Distance of radius is center to end point.
Yeah, so the whole thing is 240.
Oh yeah, because it's
all
not a
across.
cube, it's a radius.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So you guys start heading on in.
Kaylee, do you want me to carry you so then you go faster?
Yes, please.
Guys, I can chill, warm, or flavor up to 1 cubic foot of non-living material for 1 hour.
Okay.
So
Does that have to be
So
one?
you could touch an
thing?
individual?
it needs to
No,
be non-living, so I
non-living.
can
Oh,
make
non-living.
like your things are muddled up and a little bit warmer.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Okay.
I can kind of keep doing that. I can have 3 going at the same time, so I can kind of keep a
Ryan, I'm gonna rule that
okay.
that cantrip, like you feel yourself cast it, and maybe for an instant things are warm, but then it goes away.
Okay.
Magic. The other magic cancels it out.
Hmm.
Crap.
It cancels out your cantrip. Sorry. So you
I
guys are
say
walking.
we move fast. Just go.
Rachel's gonna start running.
I mean, the ground is crunchy because you're stepping on frozen vegetation, but
Once we're past the water, so it's slippery though, right?
yeah, it's not really slippery. It's not like
Okay.
it's covered in like, you know how you see ice covering things after like a freezing rain. Like you can walk on it and disturb it all you want, but you're not gonna slip on it.
Okay. Yeah, so I say we run.
12 seconds or whatever, and you're there, and it looks like. Give me survival checks. See if you guys can identify these creatures. It's pretty low. I'm looking for survival of 10. Or nature, if you want to throw nature instead.
It's a total of 20.
Oh, that is a total of 14.
14.
Intelligence or wisdom?
Wisdom is survival.
He said you could use either.
Intelligence is nature.
21. 21.
These are 2 extremely bad-looking ogres. Like, and they are looking down, like with their arms raised, like they're both like looking and facing something that's not there.
Like something was in the middle of where they're at. That's not there anymore.
That's not. I mean, that's the way you want to interpret this. And they, like, they're in bad condition. Like, you can see like bone through one of their legs. And they, barely got any scraps of cloth of any kind on them. And they're covered in snow.
So they were in combat. Something kicked the crap out of them, and they've been here for a while, frozen like this.
Yeah.
Zombie ogres.
Can I
Possible. Through the ice, I don't know if we could tell.
just roll a straight intelligence because to me, and I mean Gilly has a +2 to intelligence. If I were in a situation with 2 giant ogres that were trying to kill me, I would do a big area effect spell and then vanish and get out of there.
Okay.
So, do I need to roll an intelligence to come to that conclusion? Or
What's your total intelligence score? I'm sorry, you just told me that. A 14?
14.
No, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, Gilly can come to that kind of
Okay.
like how she might interpret the scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I was against these 2 bad guys, I would cast something big that would freeze them too, and then I'd disappear.
We're in the center.
Can we go now?
You didn't know exactly what did she get when she did identify? Did she get the type of magic being used?
Evocation.
Evocation.
Yeah,
Was it
evocation.
evocation? Okay. Because that's all I get with my detect magic one. I won't get exactly what the spell is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Is there anything in between them?
that's.
Do you want to
I was
like
gonna-
clear the snow away? Like, how do you want to go about investigating?
That's what I was
this?
gonna
If
start
it's-
to do was investigate.
Yeah, if it looks like it's been spread out in a sphere, it kind of stands to reason that it
Something
would be
was right there.
right in the middle.
Yeah.
So
Are they, like,
that's
is there like snow? Is there deep snow?
I
on
mean,
the ground?
snow is a
What?
few inches deep. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, like
Yeah.
look through the snow then.
Riel's gonna
between
like
them.
start to look through the snow and everything. That's where I was gonna.
Because you guys haven't like you wouldn't just go stand in the center. Obviously, you can kind of brush the snow away. And there are 2 sets of footprints, like right in the center. One of them is like boot prints, and the other one, I want to double check this before I say it. Looks like very, very large clawed, three-toed, oversized feet.
Roll nature on that footprint?
Give me a nature check.
How are they like positioned relative to each other?
Like side by side.
Okay.
That's a unnatural 20.
You don't recognize exactly what type of creature or race or whatever, but they are similar to the footprints that would be left by a dragonborn or a lizard folk. They're not identical, but they're very similar. And these tracks seem to be like they start right here, and then you can kind of like very carefully brush the snow away, and you can see them like continue past the zone of cold and out.
Heading deeper into the woods or towards the river?
I gotta look at a map. Hold on. Heading deeper into the woods.
So, I'm going to recall that I saw a half dragon.
Uh-huh.
Did he have boots on?
Let me find a picture of a half dragon in the monster manual, Matt. And maybe then I can answer that question.
There's also the guy that we were looking for. I'd have to look at my notes, but he was supposed to be with some weird smelling creature.
Is that the snake people?
Oh, of course. The picture of the half dragon in the monster manual does not show their feet. So I'm going to assume, like Dragonborn, they have giant dragon-looking feet. And I'm going to rule that half dragon is going to be similar to a Dragonborn or a lizard folk in terms of their feet.
Therefore not wearing footgear?
Therefore they would not. Hey, I was right. And that's the picture that just is cut off by the stat block.
Yeah, I pulled the same picture.
So,
yeah.
Similar. Again, you don't recognize what race it is.
Half dragons do have tails, where Dragonborn don't always. Is there any way to see if there's any tail swipes?
You had a 21 total?
20 total.
20 total? You don't see any indication of a tail?
The human footprints, do they
They're
look
boots.
gnome, halfling?
Medium-sized creature.
Okay, so human, maybe. The person that we're looking for the girl, her father's supposed to be with somebody.
With the smelly guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to find my notes
Artist
on him.
Simbar.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was trying to find my notes on him.
This is where I shut up.
I know.
Yeah, the smelly. All we know is that he was supposed to be a lizard smelly guy, right?
Some kind of reptile.
Yeah, which could be a dragonborn or a half dragon. Brielle's gonna tell Gilly about the time that she saw the half dragon.
Okay.
And then point out the footprints.
Okay.
And then also recount the Simbar guy that we're looking for is supposed to be with a lizard type person.
Okay.
Do we want to pursue this?
Okay.
And follow them, and she'll tell you that they went deeper into the woods.
Okay. So Gilly will recant everything Braille just said and pose the question to the group. But also, does Gilly have visibility? You said we could see parts of bone coming out of some of these ogres. They look in rough shape. Do we have visual of their head?
Their head's covered in snow and probably like 5 feet above your head, Gilly's head, but yeah.
That's fair. Like, could Brixer reach it?
Oh, absolutely.
Brixer, brush off his forehead.
Okay. Let's
Oh,
reach
I
up
know where you're
my
going.
hand and brush off the foreheads.
Yep. It's a little bit hard to tell under the ice, but also you can tell that like once you start brushing away the snow, like parts of their skull is showing. Like these guys are in real rough shape.
Okay.
And between the two of them, you can definitely get enough bits of flesh to tell there is or was a triangle.
Yep.
on the forehead.
Okay.
That's what I thought. A blue triangle. I don't want to come across these guys when they're not frozen. I'm worried about going deeper into the jungle and finding some.
Well, but if the people that froze these guys are going deeper in the jungle, would they be running away from the blue triangle guys?
Possibly. I can't speak to their intelligence. I mean, sort of can. because
Brielle will say with a
this
magic
spell-
spell like that,
Yeah,
that's some intelligence.
that's fair.
All right, guys. I feel like we're at a point where we have a lot to ponder. We need to decide what our next move is, where we're going with things. Do you continue to follow the river towards your objective? Do you try to track down the origin of this icy sphere? I think maybe next week we can make that decision and figure out where our path leads us. Folks out there in Radioland, if you like or hate the things that we do and want to find us on social media, you can track us down on Facebook, Instagram, Twitters at Monday Night TPK. We have a YouTube channel. It's Above the Table Games. It might have stuff there. I don't even know.
At least has these episodes.
At the very least, it has these episodes in a possibly more or less conveniently accessed format. Depends on your setup, I guess. I think that's all we have for tonight. We ran a little bit long, so sorry about that.
I'm not.
Thank you very much, as always, for joining us at our table, and have a good night.
Stay cool.
Oh, apparently today is X-Men Day.
Why is today X-Men Day?
I don't know.
Okay, I think people just make
Makeup days? Yeah.
days. 2 days
Unless
ago.
this is like the day that the first issue premiered or something.
I guess.
She good.
2 or 3 days ago, supposedly it was, it's Happy Paranormal Day. It's like, what the hell? Where do you find this shit?
Yeah.
Tomorrow is D&D Day in Australia.
Oh.
Is it?
Death and Dismemberment Day?
Yeah, let's not promote that if that's what